What a crazy spot. Hello and welcome back to Stefan's picture book. Today I would like to do something different than I do usually. Recently I had a talk to a good friend of mine and we were talking about equipment, and he asked me, Stefan, you probably bring all your equipment, you bring all your lenses and all your cameras and all that stuff with you, and I said no. In most cases that's not true. In most cases, like in this very case today, I try to bring as little equipment as possible. And in this very case, that means that I bring my Fujifilm X100VI, which has a fixed lens on it, a 23mm, which is the same in full frame like 35mm. So what does this camera do? This camera limits me. And in my opinion, limitation is the most important thing in photography to get creative. Of course, I also use zoom lenses. But this is more for cases like when I do paid jobs, when I do weddings, or when I work for fashion clients, because then I want to be as flexible as possible. I am convinced that limitation is the best way to improve your photography, especially in places like this with harsh light coming in through the windows, with hard shadows, with hard contrasts, and these leading lines everywhere. Again, we got the setup of two windows, which bring two like big spots on the floor of light. And that's what I really like. And as my promise, the diffusion filter brings this kind of glow around the hard shadows. I can show you what it looks like with, and just screw it off quickly. And now the same frame without. So this very spot here is actually a playground for what I want to show you today. Just using one camera with one fixed lens, one prime lens, a 23mm in this case, which is in full frame the classic 35mm. So what you can see here is that I'm moving forth and back again to get the framing perfect for what I want. I want the doorway on the right, and my frame as well as the doorway on the left on the other room. 1, 2, 3. This kind of composition has a lot to do with depth, because I can look into many different rooms at this very spot. I set the ISO to 1600 because it's getting pretty dark in here. And the auto mode sets it down to 1/6 of a second. Strange bird noise. This might be something for flash again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and this is a perfect example of using my legs as a zoom. I just composed the frame and I want more of the background, which is that old kitchen room in it. So I move forwards and it looks like this. And if I want more of the door frame and more of this room inside this frame, I move backwards and then it looks like this. Can play of light on the floor. This camera is actually very minimalistic in its design. On top there is a single dial that controls both ISO and shutter speed. I set the aperture directly on the lens. To get that signature soft cinematic look on my images, I've added a black mist filter in the front of the lens. And since I shoot in aperture priority mode about 80% of the time, I also make regular use of the exposure compensation dial up here. If in this special case I had a zoom lens, I could just go easy, zoom in, and that's it. With a prime lens like this, the zoom lens is me, or better to say, my legs. That means I move forth and then maybe back again for setting my composition. Yes, that's it. I just love how the light falls onto this door as it's splitted by a shadow, something like this. And I'm going to underexpose this picture a little bit, like one stop, to make sure that I got this kind of light and shadow play on the door. And I think I prefer landscape. Let's see what this frame does when I use a flash. No, that's boring. And the reason why I'm here is not to show to flash or not. It's about using a camera with a prime lens like this. Good. I like this framing. I got the door on the left, on the right as a frame. And then the lighting on the floor coming from outside. Ah, this is really cool. 1, 2, 3. I always like when there's like light coming from outside, like direct sunlight coming through a window, like here in this very spot. So we got the lighting on the floor, and in the background we got this old window with something lying there. A little bit creepy, to be honest. But on my frame it looks really lovely. 1, 2, 3. Now I expose for outside so that the window here is a frame within a frame. And as I use exposure compensation wheel, I'm just setting my aperture to f2.8, ISO 800, and then I let the camera do the magic. 1, 2, 3. I think I take this frame again, because I might have shaken the camera. So guys, this wraps up my video about limitation in my photography. I hope you learned something. Let me know down below in the comments which is the lens that you use all the time. See you next time. And don't forget to subscribe